Story, I could talk a long time on that, so I'll keep it brief. Basically, in high school, I joined the Army National Guard because I knew I wanted to be in the military. Also in high school, I was a security guard, which also made me know I did not want to be in security ever again. But I joined the National Guard as an Army medic, and I became a paramedic, and I worked in emergency medical services, and that was my first career. Actually, after 18 years, my paramedic finally expired, so I have near a 20-year career in emergency medicine. But then we deployed to Iraq in early 2003, and we supported the post-invasion work that was being done in Iraq with the military. And we were one of the first units to be extended and do a 15-month rotation, and I was assigned to military police. And I had no idea that security was more than sitting behind a desk checking people's badges as they walked in, because back then, at least where I was at, there was no actual swipe access control that would show me your badge as you walk by. And so doing all of these different protective type of operations became really interesting to me. And when I got back, the ambulance, the lights, the sirens became a little more dull after being in a war zone. And I started looking at how to get into the security industry, and I ended up entering through the executive protection portal. Now I'm about to celebrate 5 years at Facebook, which is crazy. So actually, this may sound a little bit strange, but root cause analysis. So in the medical industry, you assess patients for symptoms, and then you try to find the actual cause of the symptoms so that you can fix it, because treating the symptoms doesn't really work out in the long term. And so when I'm faced with a really tough situation, a project that is just out of my expertise, which is almost always, I found myself in a role to where I just do things I've never done before over and over and over again. I build programs based on that. And so getting with people that know what they're doing and digging down to what the root causes are, so that we can fix them or design a program that speaks to the root causes that are causing stress to the organization, I would say that's my superpower. I like that this is an industry that can give you a variety of roles and environments to work in within a single discipline. So take executive protection as an example, where I started. If you just look at the very basic life cycle of an executive, you have home, work, and travel. So I became somewhat of an authority in residential security, travel logistics, any type of logistics around the office, around town, because executive protection is all about efficiency of motion. And now he's at the office, so we have to look at office and facility security and how does that support executive protection. Executives are always going to events, hosting events, speaking at events, so I become somewhat of an expert in event security. And then traveling. You travel all over the world. You have to learn how to deal with different people and different cultures. And I think most importantly, coming in with executive protection, you interact with and learn how to present with executives, which is kind of uncommon in the security industry as a whole. So I wish the industry would really thoughtfully, as a whole, think through the career path development of itself. So I champion the notion that the security industry is not yet a profession. We are a trade. Because when I was in the medical field as an EMT basic, so 3 months of training, and now I can essentially help on an ambulance, I could have walked into the ambulance and say, hey, I want to become a doctor. How do I do that? And by the end of the afternoon, we would have had mapped out the places I need to go, the tests I need to take, and how long it would take me to become a doctor. If I walk in as a guard, if I walk in as a program manager to an organization and say, like, hey, I want to be CSO someday, how does that happen? They're going to say, I don't know. Nobody knows. It's just like if you're liked enough and you do a couple of good things, you may get there sometime or you may not. And I think that has to go back to the industry asking themselves the questions, what is my role within this organization and how is my input, my presence, and my operations actually creating recognized value by the organization? Because until we can answer those two questions consistently, we can't actually lay out a career path. Well, unfortunately, in 5 years, I'll be in my early 40s. So I won't be young anymore, although it's debatable as to whether I'm still young. But you know what? I see myself doing some role that is interesting, probably a role or solving problems that not a lot of other people have done. That's kind of my niche in the industry, but I'm hoping to make that scale. So definitely, I would love to be director level at some organization, helping that organization understand why security has not produced a lot of value for them in the past, and how we produce a ton of value for them now and into the future.